Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's Facebook Live, where Marie, I'm truly honored and delighted that that you've agreed to be interviewed by us today in Thrive Online Academy. Marie Munos, thank you so much for your time. Um, I, I have so many questions to ask you because I know Marie. We've connected, and I first met Marie a couple of months ago, maybe even a year ago in Paris. I went to
Yeah.
a session with Bernadette Martin at one of her storytelling evenings, and I just thought to myself, this is a woman who can take me deeper. This is a woman who can really help me uncover more about myself. So, personally, I'm very excited, but very honored that you've agreed because our time is precious and valuable. So, welcome, Marie, to tonight's Facebook Live.
Thank you so much, Connie-Lee. I'm so delighted to share this moment with you. I mean, a soul-to-soul moment. And it really was a so beautiful encounter with you and our exchanges. And I believe we have the same, maybe, sensitivity and approach of life. So I'm really happy about this moment tonight.
Awesome. Well, the reason why we are here tonight is we are talking about how to live and experience our ultimate sexual expression. And this week in our Thrive Online Academy, if you go to www.connieleebennett.com, you can find out a little bit more about it. But this week, we've been looking at awareness, which is step number two. Step number one is feeling safe and trusting yourself and trusting other people. And step number two is just bringing into awareness all those areas that are not in alignment with who you are. So this is really what the interview is about today. But before we do that, of course, my favorite two questions to ask. Number one, who are you? And number two, what do you do? So I think start off with a little bit of who you are. Who is the core of who Marie is?
Thank you. So I think I am someone very passionate by life, discovering things I don't know, and I'm thrilled about being amazed every day by simple moments, by meeting someone, by the sun, by just what is surrounding me. So I'm very curious and trying things even if I'm scared or frightened. And I'm led by my connection to the invisible, to my guides. So I can sense in this world a lot of things, but also in the other reality, which I call the invisible. And so after 70 years spent in the export finance field, I jumped and became a channel, a shaman. And so I am helping people to find their way, to better understand who they are, what is their goal, real motivation, mission in their life, and what can prevent them from being really themselves, fully themselves. So that's what I do today, using my connection to my guides, to my spirits, using my drum, using my voice, because I receive some sounds with a specific spatial vibration, which correspond to the soul frequency of people coming to see me. And that's really a wonderful path and a wonderful job. That's not a job, but activity to do every day.
Wow. So that is a little bit of who you are and what you are, which is awesome combining those two questions. So thank you so much. My question is, could you start off a little bit by telling us about what your view is on sexual expression? How you see it, because what I've been saying over the last 2 weeks in the academy is how, there's so many different views that people have conditioned us to believe about sex and sexual expression and our deservability around expressing our desires. It all comes from outside. And I'm very interested to hear what your views are, especially linking it with what you call the invisible, I might call source, um, or that connection with our soul. And we've had some great conversations this week about what's the difference between sex from the head, what's the difference between sex from the heart and sex from the soul, and sex in the body. Like, what is the difference? So it's lots of questions, but I guess the initial one is, what are your views around sex and sexuality? How do you feel about it?
I believe that sexuality is really something essential because it's the connection from your soul to your life force. So a great power. And you need to be fully connected to your body to be able to sense, to feel what is inside you, your emotions, your needs, your urges, and what surrounds you. Because I can rely sexuality to sensuality using all your senses. So it can be, of course, the vision, hearing, but the touch and all the shivering. I can sense something because I have this reaction of my body. And I believe that our sacred fire comes from our sexual energy. So when we are disconnected from that or cut off from this source, motor, we cannot fully know what we like, what we want to do in our life, what fills us with joy, just joy, and serenity and peace. And everything is connected to that energy. So the sexual energy is for me really the life energy.
This is so interesting what you're saying, because what I'm hearing you say is that if we are not connected to our sensuality, which is our senses, then we're not connected to who we authentically are and what we need. And I think that's really interesting because sensuality, I think sex and our power forces is so much more than we've been given permission to explore. It's not just about a belief around it or the physical act of sex. It's that power source. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about what you mean by that power, connecting with that power energy?
I believe that power, it starts, of course, in the sexual area, and we have to express it. We have to know ourselves. We have to be in contact, in touch with our body. Self-pleasure. How do I feel alive? The life I can feel through my body sensation will go and flow and fuel my heart and fuel my mind, fuel my creativity, and create projects, intentions. Just being aware of I am here in that moment, in that body, feeling this emotion, and I'm fully aware of life inside me and radiating towards other people. And that's how you can be also perceived by other people. If you shut down that power, ignoring your sexual needs, or even not knowing if that touch on your skin provides you pleasure or not, because I can meet some women who are totally disconnected from this sense. How can you connect with others? Everything will stay outside you, and you will feel very isolated in your body and from other people, from life.
Wow. So why is it that we are disconnected? Like, is it societal? Is it karmic contracts? Is it, because I think some of us, we're at different levels, aren't we? Like some people aren't even aware that they're disconnected. They're just living their lives. And then some people are in awareness that there's something missing, but they don't really know. So what is it that separates us from actually even knowing whether we're connected or not? What are those, what shuts us down?
There are several reasons. So in the way I am accompanying women today, I believe there are several levels. In this life, we are not always taught about sexuality, what it is, what will you feel, how does your body work. Even the first connection to your feminine sexual energy through the menstrual cycles, menstruations, the moons, I will call that the moons. Yes. Sometimes you're not taught by your mother what it is, how it works, what for. You're becoming a woman. So the first ignition of this power is not explained. There is no ritual. Then for some women, they even don't know how this flow of power circulates through her body. The cycle, why, when, what is it for? Is it just a torture, something that is painful once a month? Or does it provide more sensitivity, life force? No explanations. And then there are a lot of inherited limitation, restrictions coming from our mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, so our women lineages. Sexuality is something very serious. There is no pleasure but a duty. All the beliefs which were transmitted over centuries and centuries again. And sexuality is only to become a mother for life transmission. And then the third level will be karmic memories of difficulties or difficult lives or maybe violences. The experience you experienced in former lives. And all these memories, loyalties, false beliefs, and educational rules, principles prevent those women to connect to their body, and they even know how to start. Some arrive and just tell me, I don't know what I am longing for. I don't feel my feminine energy and I have no sensation. I don't know what to do. So then we have to get upstairs, all the levels in this life, all the lineage, and then the karmic memories. And I work on these 3 levels. That's the specificity I can bring. I have access to all the information.
So do you think it's important that we do, when we're trying to heal an area, that we do look at healing all the different aspects? So is it possible for us to heal something when we don't know about our lineage, or we don't know what our karmic contracts are? Is it possible bypass is coming to me, or do we have to cut the cords and release release? I mean, you'll know the words more than me, so do we have to do a complete healing in order to reconnect with our life force?
You don't need to achieve the whole process. You need to start the process. So maybe the first step for one woman will be just to work on her senses. Through, I mean, just when you have to put some cream on your skin, you can do it very, how do you say, gently, softly.
Yeah.
Just discover that sensation that you deserve to receive softness and gentleness. Sometimes they never receive that from their mother, so that's really the very first step. Senses, softness, and I can feel something over my skin. For some women, the first trauma comes from a violence experience with a man, for instance. So we have maybe directly to go to this event to free that memory and to enable her then to connect to her body. So the journey is not always in the same flow or direction.
Yeah.
You have to pick up the first entry point level, and it can happen in several ways. If you are aware that the source exists, that maybe you had several lives before, you can do the research. You can apply to someone who has access to that. If you don't have this awareness, you will start directly with your body, maybe practicing receiving messages, or I would say then yoga to reconnect to your body, and tantra for the sexual energy, and maybe that way you will manage to find the perception.
That I think is simple, Marie, but really not something that many of us do. I mean, it's a very simple step. Step number one, connect sensually with yourself. I was thinking, wow, when I grew up, I don't think I ever gave myself permission to feel, oh, I'm feeling pleasure. Oh, no, that's wrong. So there was never that space to explore that sensuality. And even when I get a massage, there's like I'm not experiencing it. I'm like, oh, I'm feeling guilty and I don't deserve this pleasure. And it's a simple step, but I'm like thinking in my head, oh my God, like there's a part of me that feels that she doesn't deserve that pleasure. And I'm sure many people listening live in the replay will really resonate with how powerful that is. Step number one, connect sensually with yourself. And step number two is actually set the intention that you want to connect with that life force. Look for yoga, look for tantra. Hannah was with us last week and she was talking about orgasmic meditation. Like actually being willing to connect rather than being scared, because I think we also feel scared. What happens if I actually give myself permission? Is fear quite a big one for us as one of the limiting beliefs? What are your thoughts around fear?
Fear. I perfectly understand fear. I come from a family which is, a Spanish clan, coming from Morocco, and I was the oldest one, and I was a girl. And girls have to be very good girls, and they must not mess with boys, and they have to get married, and only at this stage she should meet sexuality. And it was very difficult because I was not allowed to go out, to be with a boy. And I got married very young with my first boyfriend. And I realized only years after that I even didn't know myself, that pleasure for me was something not totally allowed, really. And I managed to get free of that belief. But because I was very curious, and I thought, where does it come from, this fear? Where? I haven't had any problem with a man, no violence. I am lucky not to have had that in this life. And I was not able to talk about that with my mother. She even did not explain to me what was the cycle. So, you know, no explanation, no transmission. And when I discovered that we were sometimes carrying non-authorizations from former generations, this made it rang a bell, something I can sense. And then I found a way to work on that issue, and I freed some memory in my families and on both sides. And after that came the awareness of former lives, but it did not arrive suddenly one day. I would find a solution. And I believe really that we have this responsibility to educate our daughters to talk about that, to even create a kind of ritual. You're becoming a woman. That's the meaning of that is that every month there is this flow in your body, and it enables to be sensitive, more sensitive at some points, and to be creative. And then you have this period where you have to just rest, and you have to keep that in mind all the rest of your life. And then to explain what is sexuality, the notion of pleasure, when we have no explanation, it's really not that easy to understand how the body of a woman works. So we have to experience, and it's true that I believe that we are lucky now that a lot of people are helping on that matters and creating new kind of discipline and workshops, and we have more spaces to talk about that. And thank you for that space and the Anthroev Academy. So there is not one way to arrive to this awareness, but it's really depending on the experience you had.
I mean, anyone who has a question who's watching live, please feel free to ask any questions that you have in the comments now, and we can ask. I'm sure Marie's excited to answer any of your questions. So, is there a way is there a daily practice that we can use to connect more with our life force, apart from, you know, connecting with our senses? Is there any step that you would, like a ritual, to begin to connect more with who we are in our sensuality and our life force? Because, you know, when you were talking, I was thinking about menstruation and how it is our most creative time, and we're connecting with that energy. And I think a lot of the people in my academy are very are hungry to go deeper, not just at surface level, but really beginning to connect deeper. Is there a strategy or a tool or a tip that you could give us where we can really connect with that sensuality of who we are?
My first approach is really, I mean, this time you take for yourself. So it can be every morning, but just how do you say it? Put some cream all over your body, but, you know, taking your time, sounding new, this gentleness, softness, and feeling in the warmth of the palm of your hands. and just welcoming and really being present to your body, not thinking about what you're going to do today and what you did not do the day before, but just taking that moment to feel that. And what I do every morning is just wondering how I feel in my head, in my heart, in my body. Am I tired? Do I have some power energy? Am I thrilled or worried about something? And then I have a ritual of dance. I just put on some music and I'm not controlling my body. I just let my body move the way it wants. The way it moves, it can be very slow. It can be jumping everywhere. And it activates this power, this energy that will then circulate and flow into the body. I'm really insisting on the fact that this power has to be activated all through our body. And a large part of my work is to make people sense emotions inside their body.
That's something that's key for me as well. Is I really like what you're saying about sensing in your body, like how the body is really powerful. That's really beautiful. Okay, so we have a question here, is how can we get some more power energy during the day?
During the day, I would say that if this ritual is done in the morning, you can then keep the power during the day. What I use, but it's a part of the constellation work I use, is you can sense, feel the power of everything just by representing the things, the notion, the value, the event. And I do believe that if you have, I don't know, an object, specific object, a stone or whatever, and saying that that object represents the power, you can just hold the object in your hands and against your heart, or against the I would say the feminine intimacy area, and just feel the warmth, because you will really feel the power of the notion penetrating into your body and circulating. This has to be made maybe for the first time with the help of someone working this way or using this method. And then you can really keep the print, this feeling, and find it just by reproducing the ritual. The body has a memory. So the body will remember what was the first sensation and will connect again. I'm using that technique to make people sense the unconditional love of the mother, softness, creativity. When you're on the object or holding the object, the energy flows through your body and you really can feel it in your body. But you already have to connect with the power first.
Yes, yes, yeah. I hear what you're saying. I'm like, okay, yes, I have some stuff to do. So we have some questions here. After 17 years of marriage, how can we fuel our sexual life? Sometimes it sounds like a routine and you feel disconnected.
lots of women coming to see me are in that situation. So they have been with their partner for many years. They have had children. They're working, so they have not much time, and they lost their desire or creativity, inventivity. And I believe that everything has to be perceived or experienced as a game, something fun, something funny, maybe challenging. I like challenging. What idea could I have which my partner wouldn't think of?
Okay.
What could surprise me or surprise my partner? I do believe also that the way we're treating ourselves, if I want to feel sensual and to vibrate in my own body, maybe I like to wear some red color as I do tonight, so I will dress this way, or I will put some makeup, or I will maybe be willing to be naked because I will show my body and I will see my body. But you have to start with something you never do, that is not a habit. And the first time, of course, you will think, oh my God, what am I doing? I am ridiculous, and that's totally silly. And then, you know, there is this this joy, and just like a child, it's new and exciting, and you have to find this thrill, the thrill. So there are a lot of things to try. I mean, I don't know the terms in English, but you know, the gels and with flavors.
Okay.
And so you can just try, but even for yourself, you don't need to be with your partner. You can just try, have the smell, the flavor. You can dance naked, and then maybe you will have the desire that your partner comes comes home with you. But just creativity, something new, something I have never done. And once you start, you won't be able to stop. I don't know, that's it's true that it's really natural for me to do that. I'm really always looking for ideas, so that's something maybe special about me. So sometimes my partner will come home and there are some papers on the floor with words, "You're handsome, you can't wait for you." And you know, there is this pass with words, and so that you guys, and you know, there is a surprise, wow, and then candles, and wow. So, and there is this intention. What is my intention? It's to have pleasure, but it's also to have laughs. Maybe we will just be able to have laughter together, and maybe not sex, but that's already this complicity and the thrill to be united in this moment, for fun, for more, maybe for only softness, I don't know. But the game, the way, it has to be fun.
Creativity is really important. What I'm hearing. Okay, I think we'll have one last question before we complete. We have a question. I have a citrine crystal, and I bought it with so much love. How can I use it?
Sorry, I did not understand that.
So, do you know citrine crystals? It's that I think it's the yellow crystal or the orange crystal. How can you use that? It's a stone, yeah.
You mean just normal citron crystal, or is there a use I'm not aware of?
No, just a normal citrine crystal, I think the question is.
Okay. I don't really know the property of those crystals. I do work with crystals and with stones to represent values or to heal. But I give a notion of value to the crystal. So I'm not using the property of the crystal. But crystal, they keep the power, the energy. So if one day, I mean, you really feel your power, the energy flowing inside you, this kind of warmth, this kind of shivers, you can put the crystal on your belly, I would say the roots chakra, and keep this power in the crystal. You make the bond, the connection, and at the same way you will reconnect to that power when you will hold that crystal. But it's true that with the constellation work, the practitioner, the shaman, will help to make sense what's represented by the stone in the body, and then the body keeps the print and remember and can get rid of what is painful. Can be a memory, a loyalty, something. That's the way I work with crystals and stones. I can't say more about that. Sorry.
No, I mean, I don't know much about crystals either, but I think the question, the follow-up comment was that they use the crystal as an object, you know, when they're connecting with what you were talking about earlier on, is that that object represents a lot of love for them. So that's really beautiful. So I would like to know if there is anything that Spirit would like to share with us. If there's any message that the angels would like to share with us, if you are open to it. I don't know if the invisible would like to share something with us, but that would be wonderful. I don't know if you're open. I'm putting you on the spot, but
my guides and a lot of women from former generations came. I mean, since this morning, they're all around me. So,
wow. Thank you.
So I will let them directly talk to you.
Thank you.
Okay. We are delighted to see that you are asking yourself questions about how to improve the way you're living your life in this body. This body is your first partner as a soul journeying in this life. You need to be reunited, fully reunited with this body. You just have one body for this life. And the bond, the connection you can create with it is essential. All the energy, the power comes from the earth and goes to the heaven, to the source. And it has to go through the body. If you're outside your body, if you're escaping the sensation of your body, you cannot be connected either to the earth and either to the source. And you feel isolated, as if you were walking alone in the dark. Today, there are a lot of memories to free, because women had no right to express themselves, to feel, to live their freedom, to be autonomous, to follow their desire, life desire. And you have to forget about this lack of permission, this lack of authorization just to be yourself. Today, you have to follow your path, your desires, and your creativity. You are so full of creativity, but sometimes you just don't believe that it is true, that it is possible. You just have to dream, imagine. What can I do now? It seems impossible. So that is possible, because the only um, the only step to imagine, to send the intention, can make the power start to flow in that direction. The union between body and soul is the basis of every life on earth, and of connection not only to yourself but to others. You cannot connect to others if you're not connected to yourself. So appreciate the beautiful human being you are, the beautiful soul you are. Don't be so demanding with yourself, because nobody can be perfect on earth. You're just a human being trying to find his way. Just try. It doesn't work. Try something else. It doesn't work. You can laugh, you can cry, but then try again. You have the time to do it. It's never too late. Never too late. And you're never alone. Always all connected, and all connected to the source. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much to all the ladies and all the spirits who came through. On behalf of my tribe, I say thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I always love it when they come through. It's so beautiful. So, before we complete, I'm going to invite the people who are listening to this video to connect with you. And before I do that, is there one last tip or strategy or tool or thought you would like to leave us with?
They're doing things. Once you try just something unusual, and you feel the excitement, the curiosity, or the new sensation, something is will be on. I mean, and you won't be able to stop. Again, the first step is the most difficult. I can talk about it too, but then you know the joy, the thrill, this feeling of being alive. I am alive. I am feeling something. Will lead you to take another step. And there are really a lot of beautiful souls, just like Connie-Lee, to guide you, to help you just express, to dare saying. I'm afraid of that is always already accepting the fact that, okay, I'm facing the situation, I'm afraid, but now I can leave this fear and just try. Hope it will be helpful.
Very, very much so. There's a lot that's opened up within me, and I know within those watching in the replay as well as live. So I want to highly, highly recommend that every single one of you beautiful souls who is listening, reach out to Marie. If you have any questions, feel free to write them in the comment section. I know Marie would be more than happy to answer any of your questions in the comment section below. You've got the website. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it on the screen, but it's Le Voix Étoile. Is that right? Is that the seeing star? What does Le Voix Étoile mean?
The voix étoilée, yes. The voice, I would say, with stars.
Ah, beautiful. So the voice of stars.
For words or sounds. They have sounds for you, Connie-Lee, to thank you.
Yes.
Would you like to welcome that?
I would love to. Thank you.
Yes. And for everybody here.
Thank you.
Thank you
It was
so
so
much.
beautiful. I felt that in my body. That was great.
Mm. Yeah.
So, in completion, reach out to Marie, Le Voix Étoile. You'll find all of her contact details on there if you're looking for a star constellation, looking at connecting with the shamanic healer, if you're wanting to. What are some of the services that you are offering, and is there a gift that you're wanting to bless us with tonight?
Oh, I missed some of the words because the connection stopped.
Okay. So, your services are you do shamanic healing, you
Yeah.
do a voice activation, you
Mhm.
activate different things, you also do channelings and
Yeah.
readings. What other services do you offer?
Okay, I can channel a message explaining who you are, your personality, your skills, where you're standing in your life now, and if you have some issues, projects, and all the memories, loyalties, fears, non-authorization, false beliefs. The guides, they give keys about that, where it comes from, so that you can then release that weight. And I do those healings through the constellation work, working on your life and the former lives also. I'm also working on soul recovery, because when you're stuck in a fear, a part of you is not available. A part of your power and soul is not available. And the idea is to bring back the peace of your soul to to find your unity, to be fully used with no restriction, with no educational restriction or loyalty from another time. So that's really the way I work, with my voice, with what I feel, with what I get, and on the moment. Even if you don't know what you need,
Yes.
on the moment, we will have the answer and the way we have to start. So thank you.
Can we do this?
Emilia.
Can we do this via the internet, or does it have to be in person? Can you do it via
Um,
Skype or?
I do it by Skype.
Okay.
The session, the soul readings. I do it in French and English. And for the healing, it's better to be face to face or to come to a workshop, because you can also work with other people, and one person will represent a notion, and you will face this notion. When you face freedom, for example, I did that. That's
Yeah.
really scary at the beginning, and then you can connect through the look, the eyes, and then you can touch the freedom, and you can um, charge yourself with this power. So that's really an interactive way to work and to help someone. You are helped and you help someone. That's kind of solidarity chain, you would say. Work. So teamwork.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it, and it's been an absolutely wonderful interview. Thank you for activating things within us that needed to be activated. So the light within me greets the light within you. Namaste to you and to every single one of you who are watching in the replay as well as the live. Looking forward to seeing every single one of you next week, Thursday at 7 p.m. CET. Goodbye, everybody. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Bye, everybody.